from Life is a Beach, and today I'm with Lucy Saxon Quinn and Jackie Law from Dogs for Dogs for Wildlife. And I met you here at Bonamanzi. We're at Bonamanzi Game Reserve in Northern Natal, who's big onto conservation and who does a lot of work for wildlife. So it was quite nice to bump into you girls here, and I'd love to hear more about what you do. So if you want to tell me a little bit, Jackie, where did it start? What is it all about? It'd be great to hear from you.
So myself, I'm one of the co-founders and directors of Dogs for Wildlife, along with Darren Priddle, who is also the co-founder and director of Dogs for Wildlife. We initiated Dogs for Wildlife in 2018. Prior to starting Dogs for Wildlife, we had supplied, I think, about 5 or 6 anti-poaching dogs across different reserves in South Africa and Zimbabwe. We'd seen the effectiveness of the utilisation of dogs within these reserves in the reduction of poaching, snare poaching, rhino poaching, and we came across here last August. We started a conservation program because it's important to us to spread the word to people across the world, basically, but mainly in the UK. We brought a group of girls from Cumbria Zoo across here to experience why our passion for saving the wildlife is, and we met Vanessa, and this is how the Bonamanzi project became a reality. We all wanted to help because when we went out on a snare patrol last year, it was really quite horrific finding the dead animals. And actually to receive an update from Vanessa now that the last snare patrol they found 89 snares prior to the canine unit, and today they've found no snares.
Zero
Wow.
snares.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully your dogs don't find the snares by being caught in it.
No.
The dogs, Cumbria Zoo financially support the 2 rangers. We support Bonamanzi with the canines. So the dogs are born with us. We train them for the first 16 to 18 months before we deploy them to Africa.
And do you train them overseas?
We train them. The
In
dogs are
command,
born
in
Wales.
Yeah, they're born at my unit,
Okay.
at my base. We're there from the moment of birth until deployment. I come over, or Darren comes over, and we come back and do refresher training with the dogs, see how the dogs are managing. We give the dog on a lifetime loan to the reserves. So although the dogs are in situ, they are still Dogs for Wildlife dogs. And we make sure that everything's running smoothly. And so far we have 16 dogs deployed across Southern Africa. And the effectiveness, it's actually been proven there's a 76% decrease in poaching with a dog on a reserve. We have a dog at one of the reserves in South Africa. Obviously for security reasons I won't give you the name of that reserve. When we went there it was inundated with snares. Since the dog Bane is at that reserve, there has been in the last 18 months 0 snares. Zero snares.
That's huge.
Is that the primary thing, or is finding snares, or do they actually look after the rhinos? Just for the people out there, so they also understand what you really do.
Yeah.
So the dogs are trained to be worked with the rangers. The rangers have phenomenal skills, and in the daylight they can see the tracks, they can see the spores. They can't do that at night.
Yeah.
The dogs can. Okay. The dogs' noses ability.
Their noses
is phenomenal. So when you combine the two together, you have a formidable team that can save. We were here, Lucy was here
3 weeks ago in August.
It wasn't at Bonamanzi, it was another reserve around here. They found 28 snares.
In less than an hour. They were fresh snares. It was such an active area. And then we found an impala who had been caught in a snare that morning. And our field guide who was with us, and the ranger, he went over and had to put his hand between the snare and the impala's neck, and it was doing the guttural breathing, so it was literally about to die, and he managed to rescue it just in time from the snare. But that was just insane.
Last year, the beginning of this year actually, with one of our groups, one of the rhino at Bonamanzi was caught in a snare, Viola. And if it hadn't have been for the anti-poaching unit, she wouldn't be here now. So we managed, actually, thankfully one of our people on the conservation program paid for the chopper and to get the assistance here.
Is there any particular type of or breed of dog that you use, or
we have at the moment here Dan. Actually, it's a really fantastic story about Dan.
Yeah.
Dan is fully funded by a lady in the UK who lost her son to bone cancer. She wanted to utilise her son Daniel's memory because he was passionate about wildlife. So she fully funded Dan's deployment to Bonamanzi out of her own money and
Dan
fundraising.
Is the
Dan is the dog now that's in her son's memory. And so far, since Dan's been here in
He came in February.
he has found
over 500.
Over 500 snares. So
and what breed of dog is
he's
that?
A Belgian Shepherd, Malinois.
Okay.
I actually have his grandmother, his mother, and Dan. So he's the third generation of our breeding.
Strong family.
He is.
We have those dogs on the plot.
Yeah,
Do you?
he is.
So they and they love my dog, and my dog plays all day with them. But don't come onto that plot at night.
No.
You could be in some serious trouble.
And you know.
And you can't see him at night either.
But dogs can see you because they don't need to see you; they can smell you.
Yeah,
I get that. That's why I'm saying
absolutely.
you don't come on the plot at night if you're not.
But
if you're not known
the
to
effectiveness of a canine unit on a reserve is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
It is an absolute game changer, and it should always be about protecting the wildlife.
Yeah.
And when you utilise a dog for that purpose, dogs are bred to work.
And I have just a question: if you're breeding them in Wales,
Mm-hmm.
how do you train them not to attack a zebra or a giraffe or a?
They're desensitised to all animals. The dog is just trained to use its nose. It wouldn't want.
Okay.
It has no purpose, and it's a working dog. It's the same as us. When we train for a job, that is our purpose. Dan's purpose is to help. We were out on a snare patrol with him yesterday. There was 20, 30 people there. He had no interest in that. He was focused on the job at hand, because at the end of that track, or that the reward comes, whether it's playing ball, whatever the game is, he will work for that relationship game at the end of the track.
Yeah.
That there is no greater gift from my perspective than a dog actually fulfilling the purpose that they were bred for. Because today's society, we have all our pet dogs. The hardest job a dog has is to be a pet, because it has no understanding of living in a human world. Dan's purpose is to work and live with those rangers, live a fantastic life, achieving the things he achieves, and when he retires, they stay with the rangers. We have.
I was going to ask: do the dogs get attached to the rangers? Like,
Absolutely.
Do they become the handler and the dog as a team?
Yeah.
They're one. They're one.
Such an incredible bond.
One of our dogs in Zimbabwe, Merwi, she's coming up to 8 now, and I have. When we deploy the dog, that's not the end of the journey. The journey is for the dog's life. We are there 24/7. The ranger from the head of anti-poaching from Amire in Zimbabwe came to stay with us, and he's showing me all the pictures of Merwi, her life. I go over and see them. Darren goes over and sees them. I'm going to the dog unit with the IFPCP this afternoon, which I'm excited about, because I'm going to see Cal, another dog that they've got from us. I haven't seen him for a year. I can't wait to see his reaction when he sees me. When I saw Dan this morning, he was like, "Oh, Mum's here."
And are they always the same breed of dog?
No.
Or is it different breeds?
Dutch Shepherds, Belgian Shepherds. We have Cocker Spaniels being trained for detection dogs.
Labradors now too.
Labradors as well. But there's two. There's the tracking dogs and there's the detection dogs. So they will detect products of animal origin, horn, ivory, pangolin scale, because the most trafficked animal is pangolin. The world needs to take responsibility for this and start taking accountability. Us humans are accountable for this, and every single one of us can help in this fight against anti-poaching, whether it's just sharing the news, being aware of what's happening. You know, we also run a project. We get the local primary schools and we bring them into Bonamanzi, so the children actually get to experience what the wildlife is. So we're inspiring the future rangers, not the future poachers. So
Yeah.
there's so many little things we can do.
How many active dogs do you have in South Africa?
Across
17?
Africa,
17?
I have 17.
17.
17. And any little, have you been in the Kruger Park? Are they active in the Kruger Park?
No, we work with private game reserves
Private.
because the private game reserves are the ones that don't necessarily have the funding in place. They don't necessarily publicise the animals they have, and they have the biggest problems with snare poaching and poachers. You know, you just look at the statistics for KZN this year with rhino poaching, it's heartbreaking.
It's become a real hotspot now. They've moved out of Kruger into KZN, so it's a real focus.
It's all about, if we don't take action now, there's going to be nothing left. And as great, animals saving animals, there is no better purpose for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, we've created this mess. We can now solve this mess.
Yeah.
And Vanessa is the one that ignited the passion for Bonamanzi.
We just fell in love with, you know, Bonamanzi, and we found Vanessa so inspiring. And, you know, then it, you know, became your baby, didn't it? Yeah. Just to launch the...
Well, looking at your success rate, congratulations. It's absolutely amazing story that you have here.
But we're always fundraising and looking for sponsorship to get more dogs over, because we do rely on...
This is a not-for-profit. We
don't...
Not
for profit.
There is no money making in this. We go out, we fundraise, we do what we do, because obviously myself and Darren are both professional dog trainers and have a dog training company, which is where the passion comes from. I think we have over 90 operational police dogs in the UK. So it was a natural progression across to the anti-poaching dogs, because it's all the skills we teach the police dogs. We just specialise it, and that's where Cumbria Zoo came in. Cumbria Zoo give us the ability to desensitise all our dogs to all the animals. The giraffe, the rhino, I can go in the rhino pens. So young puppies, we take young puppies up there, so they're not fazed by rhinos, they're not fazed by giraffes, they're not fazed by zebras. So we desensitise them before coming over here. So I get passionate when I start talking.
But that's what it's about.
But so much, you know, Jackie and Darren put their whole lives and all their passion and dedication into these dogs. Like, it starts the minute they're born. They're, you know, they're training them. These dogs are like the highest caliber to be these operational working dogs. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And it's good to work with the reserves, because it also brings an added security to the reserve.
Yeah.
You know, these reserves want to keep the animals here, because that's what brings in the paying customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because if Bonamanzi don't have the animals, they've got no customers. So just having the dog here, they have the added security of knowing what that dog can bring.
And where do people get hold of you to do the fundraising, to help you with fundraising, or to get to know more about you? Where can
we are at dogs4wildlife.
Oh, you have it on your T-shirt.
dogsforwildlife.org, and we have merch, and you can also adopt our dogs, so the anti-poaching dogs, and you get an adoption. You get an adoption pack, you get a little cuddly toy, you get a keyring, and then you get updates about the dog, how it's getting on, videos, pictures, and you know, for that sort of one-off payment, you can then adopt the dog. It's for a year, isn't it?
Lucy is our social media lady. She takes care of she takes care of all the Facebook, TikTok, press. Instagram, press. We're very fortunate. We've been on all the major channels in the UK. So it's just to raise awareness, because it benefits all these reserves. Yeah,
the more we can get, you know, what we're doing out there, the more we can help these animals.
We're incredibly privileged to have the opportunity
to meet you guys.
To talk to you.
We're privileged to do it.
You know, we look forward to some updates about
Absolutely,
Dan.
and I'll share I'll share all the videos and photos and updates, so you can see the whole journey.
Dan is an amazing dog.
He's fabulous.
I'm biased. Cal is an amazing dog. All the dogs.
We'll definitely put it up on the video.
You get attached to a certain dog.
It's you know, it's I'm there from their birth.
You're their mother.
I'm so proud of the abilities of these dogs and what we've achieved with them.
They're superheroes. Yeah. They are actual superheroes.
Not all dogs are truly superheroes. And what you've got to remember,
not all heroes wear capes. Some have paws.
So they do. And I just want to say thanks to Ken Lovell, wildlife photographer, for joining us. Lucy, Jackie, I hope you have an awesome time at Bonamanzi, and I can't wait to meet Dan.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
I'm Janine Preston from Life is a Beach.